In central Mali, the savannah extends as far as the eye can see. MINUSMA, the United Nations multi-dimensional integrated stabilization mission in Mali, has tanks patrolling here. These blue helmets are Senegalese. They help deter jihadists from carrying out attacks against civilians in these isolated villages. No representative of the state or national army has been in this region for years, reinforcing local Fulani herders' sense of abandonment by their government. All this village chief has to defend himself against any such attack is an old rifle.
They say they can't trust anyone. They just hope they'll never be attacked.
Village after village is being razed to the ground, destabilising Mali's central regions. Access by road is difficult in these parts of the country, often resulting in the police, soldiers and blue helmets arriving too late.
It's
It's a Fulani village that's been under attack, and it has been days. But to our great surprise, we found that the village was completely burned down. Since the events in Ogosagu, there has been inter-community violence between the Fulani and the Dogon. I don't really know what happened, or who the attackers are.
In 2015, the emergence of the Messina group, led by Amadou Koufa, brought jihadism to central Mali, a poor and rural region long spared from violence. Linked to al-Qaeda, the preacher has seduced many young Fulani herders who are in conflict with other farmers over land access. Enlisting to fight the holy war appealed to many with no other option. Ibrahim was a shepherd when men with a black flag promised him 20 times his salary if he agreed to join their ranks. With 6 children to feed on a meagre income, he was easily convinced. He lived in the bush with the jihadists for 4 years.
I don't know exactly how many people I killed, because at the beginning there were raids on villages and I shot people then. I was asked to slit their throats like sheep. I cut the throats of more than 20 of them. That's why I deserted.
But now he cannot return home. He fears he might cross his former comrades in arms. Ibrahim has now changed his name and lives far from his family in the suburbs of Mopti, a large town in central Mali. Haunted by nightmares, Ibrahim says he was taking tramadol, a powerful painkiller and the jihadist's drug of choice.
We were under the influence of drugs, which we took as medication, and we were also given injections. Sometimes they made us drink date juice, but we quickly realized that it was not date juice, because we were possessed afterwards.
This chief from central Mali was one of their victims. He was tied to a tree, day and night, for 9 months, alongside 10 or so prisoners. He was the only survivor.
Ils veulent une application de la charia. C'est ce qu'ils ont demandé.
They want Sharia law to be applied.
Selon eux.
That's what they are asking for, and that's why they say they took the gun, the
Ils
Quran.
ont pris le fusil, le Coran, et
They say they're not going to give up.
ils ne vont pas abandonner.
Many women have also been targeted with violence. Amina was kidnapped for 15 days by a group fighting in the name of Islam.
They tied both my arms and both my hands. My arms were cut, they cut them with a knife, both arms. It was very painful, and so painful that I screamed until I was exhausted. They started raping me, one after another.
To fight these kinds of horrors, local businessman Sékou Bolly wants to extract young Fulani people from the clutches of jihadist groups by integrating them into a disarmament and reintegration program called DDR. It is not an easy task, with the Fulani frequently associated with terrorism and fighting discrimination.
In the bush, even if you're a Fulani or a shepherd, they see you and say you are a jihadist, so they will kill you. They say you are a jihadist. We decided to call on the young Fulani fighters and say, come on, you need to leave the bush, come and register in the DDR. If you come and register, you can have a normal life, a better life.
To protect themselves from the Fulani, many Dogon and Bambara communities have created their own self-defense militias. Heavily armed, they raid the Fulani people to get revenge. In March last year, 160 Fulanis were massacred in attacks attributed to Dogon shoemakers. Since then, a spiral of reprisals has set the country ablaze. Nobody is able to stop the blood from running. In just 1 year, more than 50,000 people have fled their villages, taking refuge in makeshift camps in Mopti or Bamako. Here, all the displaced are Fulani. They lost a large part of their herd when a Dogon militia attacked their village.
We don't want revenge. Only God can defend one or the other. What we want is for the war to end and for us to be able to return to our village.
Despite the French army's intervention in 2013 and the presence of more than 11,000 peacekeepers, cruelty and barbarism continue to reign in Mali. Entire regions are beyond control, and violence is now spreading to neighbouring Burkina Faso and Niger. Here too, jihadist groups capitalise on poverty and the feeling of abandonment to recruit nomads and spread their ideology.